Hello and welcome to Pardon the Interception, Season 33, Week 10, with your hosts Lee Wood, the Muppet.
Sailor.
Not where I was expecting to go, but hey.
I know, that's why I went with it.
And the other Muppet, me, Dave.
I believe we actually have some interesting games to talk about in the GFL this week. So with that in mind, let's get this show started.
I don't believe you. Interesting GFL. Come on, Lee.
The first thing that jumps out at me here is the Hulk managed to actually score 14 points this week, which is 14 more than they've scored for the rest of the season combined. What on earth happened here? Simon, did you have a quick look at this game for us?
It looks like Jan gave Gary a bit too much of the ball. And his quarterback had a remarkable 60-yard pass to get one touchdown. And then Jan decided to give him the ball on the 2-yard line for the other touchdown. So maybe this 10-0 Black Knights team isn't what it's cracked up to be.
Look at all those formations.
It loves a formation.
A lot of formations. And then Gary going with, if a player's not in a stance, he's not playing correctly.
I love the names, by the way.
Default
Swanning about.
You think this is bad? I like it.
Mind you, Jan had some good names as well, I think. We zipped past them, but he's got a lifeless offense.
Shouldn't that be a Hulk stance?
It should,
yeah. Possibly. Land of Tears defense. Zero tolerance. Oh, I love it. So this is what you're talking about, Simon, with people naming their.
This is how you do it.
Yeah.
Take note, everyone.
Yeah.
Don't use me as an example. Do as I say, not as I do.
Nick, am I right in thinking that Coach Leon actually wrote in on a postcard to us?
Yeah, Gary is our first fan mail. Indeed. He said, as an aside to this year's Hulk non-performance, one of my fellow coaches, he doesn't know who, has nominated him for the Pro Bowl. So get voting for Gary to be the Pro Bowl coach. That's the first thing I read there.
Yep, agreed.
And this week, broke my perfect record by scoring. Slightly upset as I was trying to go entire season without doing so. But Jan, 10-0 this season, let me score twice in the last 11 minutes. And he's looking forward to this episode.
I'm definitely a season to forget for the Hulk, I think, unfortunately.
Oh, but what an ending.
What an ending, yes.
Last 11 minutes of the season, hasn't conceded a point, scored 14. There you go.
Yep. And we all know that it's only the last 11 minutes of the season that count.
Indeed.
Yeah. Looking else around the league, I don't see anything else that jumps out at me massively in terms of the scores.
You got the Wildcats beating the Firebirds to score the
that's the one I was looking at. Yeah.
And then you got the Dragons just scraping in with the skin of their teeth.
Yeah, Wildcats. So if we move over to the stand-ins, I think pretty much everything went as we expected last week.
Oh, you expect me to remember last week?
No, I don't remember last week, so I barely remember this morning.
I
mean, it's pretty close for the was it the second wildcard spot in the AFC?
It was the AFC wildcard slot we were a bit unsure about.
And it looks very close.
So it went to the Dragons just?
By 3 points?
Yeah.
That is close.
That is very, very close.
We knew it was going to be close because the Dragons were going to lose because they're playing the Wraiths.
Yeah. I think we brought it down to who scored the most points or did the best out of the points differentials in the end. And they've come through on top.
Okay. So if we go ahead and look at the playoff games with our patented way of calling games. So I'll go first on the GFL. So I am going for the Raiders winning, the Gunslingers winning, the Bulls winning, And I'm going to go with the Hawks. Simon, who do you like?
To be fair, I think you've gone exactly the way I would.
Going exactly the same way as
Fancy
me.
the Raiders, followed by the Gunslingers, followed by the Bulls, followed by the Hawks.
So a home away. Yeah.
Home away, yeah.
Nick.
Well, I'm going to mix it up then. I'm going to go Dragons, Gunslingers.
Hang on. Dragons, Gunslingers.
Bulls, because I said they were going to make the bowl game.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of got to carry on backing them. And the Rockets.
Okay. This should be an interesting week. I think that the Mules Gunslingers is the closest game, followed by the Wildcats Bulls. They're the two that intrigue me the most, I think.
Yeah, I like the look of that Wildcats Bulls game. Should be a good game.
Anything else to talk about before we move on to the Atlantic and look there?
Mark Spencer's still the man who can't be named.
Still the man that can't be named. Okay,
Still got
fair
the
enough.
A status.
Good.
You know, we love to see that.
Right, and then on to the Atlantic. So I'm going to be slightly skewed by what I see here in terms of results, because I only really cared about a single game.
Mariners Outlaws?
No, I didn't even care about that. I can't even remember which game I cared about. I cared about the Avalanche Stallions game, because I have chosen the Avalanche for the bowl.
Fair.
So knowing that Avalanche can beat the Stallions was always going to be key for me here. Snow Bears narrowly losing, but I think they may have rested. Nick, I think you rested everyone this week because
Boston running backs, because I didn't have any spares. Yeah,
sure.
Rest week.
You couldn't make your playoff position any better by winning, so why risk the injuries? I think that had some effect on the tiebreakers for other teams.
Mm-hmm. Spitfires Bears was the big game, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Although obviously the biggest game was Conrad's final game in the gridiron. A massive win though, 45-10.
Yeah.
His running back did him proud.
So how did that affect the standings then? So obviously you had the Scorpions winning, and so in the CFC we had Bazin making it through as a wild card, which I think we called, and the Warriors. That is pretty much what we expected, I think.
Yeah, I think it was close.
The Magpies, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. I mean, the only question mark was that the Stallions Generals, I think, if I remember correctly, and obviously Stingrays have taken first seed by 1 point over the Sharks.
Yeah, that is definitely a very, very close single point. Just shouldn't have conceded as much.
Yeah. Score more points.
Then looking at the MFC, we have the
the
Rapiers making it and the Nighthawks making it over the Sonics on points differential.
Yeah, I mean, the big swing is the Spitfires losing to the Bears. Has swung the Bears into second seed.
Yes.
And
Kendall's actually going to be happy about something this week, which is unusual for him.
I'm sure he'll find something to moan about.
That he's not number one seed.
There we go.
But yeah, that is interesting because the Spitfires were looking good for that second seed.
Mm.
Yeah, so they're down to third seed by looks of things.
We kind of knew the winner of that game was probably going to get second seed, right?
Yeah, I think we all expected Spitfires to make their way through that game.
Mm.
But obviously, the Bears are very good this season.
Oh yes, and my team is old and banged up, so taking us on to the playoff games. So I know that there is one extra bye this week, but looking at the GFL, Simon, you can go first. This one.
I fancy the Warriors. And then the next game's a bye for the Avalanche, so we don't need to talk too much about that.
Yeah, bye. They're off. See you later.
The Rapiers followed by the Spitfires.
Rapiers, Spitfires. Not the Spitefires, as I keep on wanting to write. Nick.
I'm going to go Warriors. I'm going to go Scorpions. Obviously, can't not go Scorpions.
Like it.
I'm going to go. I think that Rapiers Blues game is going to be reasonably close. I'll go Rapiers though, and I'm going to go Nighthawks to cause an upset.
Right, so
Royston.
I am going Stallions, Avalanche. So I've got the Avalanche in the bowl, but the Rapiers in the bowl as well. So I had to go for the Rapiers, and then I'm going with the Spitfires, which really pains me, but I can't go for the Nighthawks. If I wanted neither team to go through, that's the game.
What did Phil do to upset you?
In the same division as me.
Oh, okay. I see. Oh, that's boring.
Yep, pretty much.
I expect some juicy, Phil wronged me 6 years
Actually,
ago.
let's go with the Nighthawks. Solid.
Talked him into a change.
Talked me into a change. Yeah, no, just the Nighthawks won some games against me back in the day that I won't forget.
Evidently so.
Yeah.
Don't hold a grudge there, Lee.
It's a divisional rival from when I first started the game. There's not many of them left, so.
That's true.
Is there anything else people want to talk about the Atlantic before we move on?
Should be some good games there.
Should be some good games, and I think more in depth is going to come next week. So we did a lot of playoff analysis last week. So in the Big Sky, the question is, did the Rivets win?
Oh, it's not even a question.
They might have rested. I think they had to play in order to get the first seed.
I think the Titans might have rested looking at the score.
Quite possible, yes, because that was the both 9-0 teams playing, wasn't it, for the number one seed?
I believe so.
I'd say it's more likely that the Hulk will win a game than the Rivets lose a game.
Fair enough. That puts him onto what, 50-game winning streak or something stupid like that?
It's more than that.
It's a lot.
It's
50
many. The
One of the
Eagles
last three
losing
bowls?
to the Rough Riders, is that as big as I seem to remember it being?
The Waff Widers.
Yeah, the Rough Riders.
Waff Widers?
Buccaneers winning by 78 points also is going to do their tiebreakers a world of good.
Yeah, that's a big win. Myrtle Beach one as well.
I guess, the Eagles might have been resting.
Possible.
The Waff Widers.
Yeah. So looking at the standings, Port Royal managed to win their division. I'm going to look at the LFC first because why not mix it up? So the wildcards go into the Rushmores, and then the Sharks making it just because the Statesmen have only just got a positive score.
Yep.
Big thing is that the Buccaneers have taken second seed there. Swarm and Giant Hornets, first seed. It's nice.
Yes. Yeah, taking that second seed with a huge points, 78 point extra on your differentials.
Am I right in saying the Shadows lost this week and then the Buccaneers won so heavily they overtook the Shadows?
Yes, Shadows lost by 3 points.
And then the 78 points pushed the Buccaneers like way ahead of them.
Yeah, so the Shadows lost the second seed in the bye. So that's looking good for the Buccaneers there, but having the bye week as well. And then, yes, Andy probably was resting looking at it because he couldn't improve his playoff position.
It gives Adrian a chance to catch up on his emails. Extra poet.
So you've got the Maroons making it and the Packers making it. I think we put the Packers in, and then it was the Maroons.
The Packers were playing the Surfers, is that right?
Yes.
And the winner of that game went through, is essentially what we said, and then Myrtle Beach we assumed would win and go through, which they did.
I think we put the Bay Packers through regardless.
I think we put them through, but we said that game, the
Surfers could make it with a win, yeah.
With a big win, yeah.
Okay.
Although it looks like maybe they wouldn't have.
This is the great thing that I'm actually now writing down the crap we're calling, so we can go back and remember it. So, Nick, you're first on the Big Sky.
Let's see, who have we got? Well, we'll go Berlin Fire,
Mhm.
and we'll go to Shadows. Shadows. Newcastle, and then the Beverly Bay Packers.
Yep, good. You haven't chose any of the teams. I know you've chosen the Sharks in the bowl, and you've said that they're now going out.
You can change your opinion throughout the season.
I know. I just like.
To be honest, I completely forgot who had chosen.
I've got that doc up as well. So I'm going Fire, Sharks, Eagles, Generals.
Good old Fire Sharks.
Yeah. Simon.
Fire, definitely. No, I'm an R in the next game.
It's a close one.
It's gonna be interesting. I think Shadow. I'll go with Fire Shadows. It's probably Eagles Bay Packers, although the Generals have a chance.
Yeah, I think that's a close game as well. I really want to pick the Maroons, but like the Eagles, they've looked pretty solid.
I really want to pick the Generals, but they got absolutely demolished by the Bay Packers at the start of the season. So it has to be Fire Shadows, Eagles, Packers.
Okay. I've only just excuse me. I only just noticed that in these pictures, the Rich and Rich just flip round the helmet logo. So if you've got any text, it reads backwards if you're the Homer team.
They're not the Generals anymore.
No, they're
the Slareneg.
I think that's 2. And then Jareneg. So
Slareneg.
N3.
No, it's number 26. And it's number 26 of the Jarens.
Okay.
Jaren 26. Anyway, anything else on the Big Sky before we move on?
It's the Shadows you want to look at. 2, what are 2?
Okay, on to the Continental. Show the scores in the Continental. Right. Badgers winning, always like that.
Mushroom.
Classics winning.
Classics winning.
Classic on that.
Trojans losing.
Zulu's lost.
Zulu's lost. Westie's won.
Yeah.
The Battle of the Renegade and Thunderbirds was a good one.
The Vatican City Angels, North Yorkshire Angels won.
Because the where's the Renegades gone?
4th, 5th one down.
Yeah, they beat the Privateers by a stonking margin.
Yeah, but not enough to overturn the Thunderbirds' slight advantage in the points. They both finished 10-0.
Thunderbirds got a big win, biggish win as well. Put a lot of points on the board.
So looking at the standings then, so 2 10-0 teams. Jeez.
7 points difference.
Yeah. And then a 5-5 team making it. So
only
Timberwolves making it.
Timberwolves made it. Yeah.
Nick, tell them all about making it with 5-5.
Yeah. Well, I won my division with 5-5.
It's unusual to make a wild card with 5-5.
Yeah. As long as you win in your divisional games, you're all right.
True.
And then Gary winning the UFC South, and the UFC South putting both of the both the wild cards through.
Yeah, I think we mentioned that last week, didn't we?
Yeah, I think it was basically a lock. But it was
Brooklyn
who was going to win that division was the interesting one.
Yeah. And Classics and Park Warmers only have 6 points difference.
Because did the Trojans and Zulus both lose and Gary won? Because they were all 7-2, weren't they, going into last week?
Yeah, Zulus lost. I know that much.
I think they probably
Trojans lost, yeah.
Because they couldn't win their division, so what's the point?
Yeah.
What, the Trojans?
Well, Westie's won, right? So they could win the division, but they're already locked for the playoff. I want to say because the Venom won. Did the Ravens win as well? Is it?
Let's have a look. Ravens won, just.
Yeah, so that they're all locked. Then, yeah. So yeah.
But yeah, it was an interesting battle because I think the Westies had the least. The Westies, if everyone had won, the Westies would have finished 6th seed.
Yeah.
So they've gone from 6th seed to 3rd seed. It's not
jump.
Yeah, so it is a big jump.
Means you get a home game this round at least.
Yes. But yes, so and also makes up for the Hulk season a little bit.
Yep.
So I think we'll have a make up for that, though.
I mean, the pain of scoring those 14 points this week's never going to go away, unfortunately.
All these affinity coaches only paying attention to one team.
I know, ignoring that GFL team so they can focus on the Continental. I think that's pretty disgusting.
Right, so
deal with Amara, deal with Gary.
I'm going Badgers,
Mushrooms.
Monarchs, Destruction,
Snakes.
and then I'm going for the Westies. Simon.
Simon might need a minute to recover. Apparently.
No, he doesn't get any time to recover from Badger, Mushroom, Snake.
Well, you can't bet against the Badgers, right? Because where would we be without Stromwatch?
Yeah.
Bullets, Monarchs. I'll come back to that in a second because I'm not sure.
I'm not sure about a lot of these games.
I like the Destruction. Always like the Destruction.
We both called the Destruction in the bowl.
I like the Westies. But it's Monarchs. It's a hard one. I need to have a look back. I feel like, didn't they play before?
I called the Monarchs in the bowl, which is why I went with them.
No, they haven't played before. I'll go with the Monarchs.
Nick, do you want to go the same as me and Simon?
No, I'm going Badgers, Bullets, Trojans, Zulus.
So Nick's going Badgers, Bullets,
Snakes, Mushrooms,
Planes,
Trojans, Zulus. You're going against Gary.
Well, I just wanted to pick different teams to you guys, to be fair.
The Bullets do have one of the best named players with an injury.
Mm-hmm.
His name is Smythe Smith.
Classic.
Nice. I like it.
Vivian Smith. I'll have you know. Max has some class for naming these players.
Right.
It's good to know both Newcastle teams made the playoffs. So.
Anything else before we move on to the next? Before we move on to the next league, I can't even remember what the next league was called there for a second.
The Delta?
That's the one that I play in.
Affinity Central.
Otherwise known as Atlantic Light. So, big things that jump out to me here. Venom beating the Plague. Jorvik managing to beat the Copperheads. Shanklin beating the Miners. Shanklin also saying that this is their last season in the league as well.
Behavely with your Jorvik managing to beat the Copperheads who'd lost their only running back.
I'm still amazed whenever I win.
Enigma have gone out in style. Their coach is leaving as well, right?
Yes, their coach is leaving.
Nearly made the playoffs.
That'd have been class, though. Going out with a bang. Patriots with a big win. I assume the Katana's rested some players.
Oh, yes.
Yes, they really, really did.
They went full rest. It's quite interesting to look at the players they put out. I think they picked up some free agents with like really wonky QSTs just to make sure no one got injured. I
mean, I was not far off doing that.
End of an age.
Look at the Look at the halfback and fullback. I think even the quarterback are all a bit all over the place. That's not so bad.
I mean, yeah, this guy actually has 2
He's actually done
bowlings.
something. Look at the other 2 though. Oh yeah. Look at that for a running back.
Class. Oozes class, that guy.
How's he got 2 bowling?
Because he was on the roster.
Oh, of course. What a shit.
This guy his picture is just pure attitude right there.
Lorenzo. Yeah, Lee was putting in some right. He was trying to go full Hulk.
What did you see?
When his offense was on for 1 minute and 20 seconds, according to this.
Well, that guy had 6 carries for 1 yard. That's some spicy season of stats right there. There we go. Look at him go. He did better than the other running back. He got 0 yards. Not good enough.
And it's the slightly improved gold.
Didn't I have this running back at one point?
I think yours is called gold, isn't it, rather than good?
Yeah, but I think that's a running back I actually cut.
Really?
I need to go check.
Can't be.
Or traded. I had
drafted by Ipswich in season 32.
Okay. I thought I had a player called that on my roster at some point.
You might well have done.
I might have done. I'll check at some point. I'm not bringing up my team roster.
Why not?
All right.
You'll lose anyway.
Oh, he's not on my roster currently. I actually need to go back.
I just cut him.
Yeah, so I need to work out if I ever. How can I work out whether he's ever been on my roster? Yes, I did. I drafted him in season 23. Kingdom Gold. There you go. I did have a running back with the same surname on my roster until recently. Yeah, it's the same as the Ipswich one.
Oh, some class stats there. 19 yards of 4 carries. His last season.
Yep.
Big game.
Player card.
He got 4 MVP awards and Pro Bowl nominated.
He was a good running back at one point in time. Then he died.
How did you forget about this guy?
Stuck on the wrong team.
Because I've got gold without the U as well.
He forgot because he's an affinity coach, Nick.
Ah, yeah. One of those seasons, was it?
Because I pay that much attention to the name of my players. Right. So
I paid enough to remember you had a player called Gould.
True. Only because I know I had him at the same time as Gold for a bit, and it confused me having 2 running backs with 1 letter difference.
Yeah.
So the standings. The Worley obviously got one of the playoff berths, and then the second one went to Cyclones. Yeah. Surprised to see it come out of the GFC North, to be honest, but that's showing that Matt Neal is taking a team that haven't really done. Am I right in thinking that team hasn't done anything for a while, Simon?
Matt's one of those teams that kind of always has flashes of brilliance and just randomly gets beaten by someone really shit out of nowhere. Yeah.
Am I right in saying the Zeppelin lost this week?
Might be right.
Or am I wrong in that? I vaguely remember talking about them last week, but
Zep. They lost to the Lone Stars because the Lone Stars were playing for 10-0 and number 1 seed.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
we weren't 100% sure on the Lone Stars, but you guys were fairly convinced that they'd be strong. So
yeah, Aaron would run a full strength offense.
Mm-hmm.
If he didn't, he might have lost number 1 seed to the Cougars.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the reason.
Yeah.
And then a smart Hoff should have then rested and just taken the number 2 seed.
To be fair, I might have done that in Eric's situation. And maybe he did.
He won, didn't he?
Might have won while resting.
But who was he playing?
He was playing the Metro, so he could have.
It's possible actually. So
put on the D team.
Yes, he did.
There you go. See, big brain moves from the
They put the youth out.
from the half.
But yeah, that is key to be. So playoff space are going to Warriors and Cyclones. Then in the VFC, going to Yef and Holly.
Yeah, there's a close 3, 6, and 4, 6, and 4 teams.
It was very tight.
Mm.
Very
Yeah, I think Deb felt a little bit hard done by that Lee rested players. But he was guaranteed number 1 seed. There was no point Lee risking any players.
Should have scored more points in the previous games.
Exactly.
As someone who also rested their players, I agree with Lee.
Oh, I would have rested players as well. If I wasn't playing for number 2 seed, I would have rested.
Yeah. And you got your number 2 seed.
Look at me, number 2 seed.
Oh, look at me, I've got a bye. Mine gets an actual bye, not like Simon's in the Atlantic. So yeah, that Jeff losing out on divisional record points didn't matter there, but pretty much fell how we expected to, I think. So playoff games. Simon, I think we can say where you're going for the first one.
Cyclones for the first one.
Okay, I've written down Venom.
Cyclones for the first. I think Matt's going to win. I'm not even trying to sandbag or anything, because I don't even think Matt watches this. But like, I've played him twice. I've got horrifically lucky both times.
You've avoided the Cougars. You've avoided the Cougars for the first round.
I'm sure that will happen if I do win. That will happen in the round after, or something. So Cyclones, Warriors, Copperheads, Sunblazers. Fancy the Copperheads, as much as they are missing their running back.
Yeah, rematch.
I feel like the Flopperheads might actually be able to do something.
Nick.
I'm going Venom, Warriors, Copperheads, Patriots.
Copperheads, Patriots. Right. Where am I going? So.
Home in an Orcish ambulance.
I'm going home in an Orcish ambulance. I'm going Venom, Hammer Sharks.
Ooh, controversial.
Didn't Warriors Hammer Sharks get the memo that it's an interdivisional week?
That is true.
Every single playoff game except for that one in the Delta is a divisional playoff game. Is a divisional game.
The
Hammer Sharks have looked stinky.
The Warriors look like they're sponsored by Waterstones. Helmet design.
I thought Wikipedia or WordPress.
WordPress think Warriors. Kendall's going to go full Kendall, and Jeff's going to somehow win and then be surprised that he won.
Kendall's going to win the D and the A.
The Colts are the favourite, right? I would say the Colts are the favourite because the Copperheads don't have their running back, but then I just think the Copperheads will suddenly just pass all over the Colts.
Yeah, but you're not taking into account the Jeff factor. When it says that the favourite, that doesn't take into account that Jeff's the coach.
Hey.
But yeah, no, I think the Colts can win that game. And then I've gone for the Sunblazers. I think they're just too strong for the Patriots, even with the coach leaving.
I think I backed the Patriots early on, so I have to back them.
Isn't Glenn sticking in the A though? It looks like he's just leaving the D.
Oh, is he an affinity coach?
Yeah,
that is the D, isn't it? Just affinity coaches.
Yeah, Glenn must. He's definitely got an A team, hasn't he?
I thought he had the Mariners, which he gave up.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, because I've got the Mariners now.
Oh, he's already He was an A coach.
Yes. Okay.
So he's going. Yeah. Ignore me. I just speak rubbish.
Anything else before we move on to the E?
Nope.
Okay, so scores, standings.
Scores on the doors.
So what can I see here? The Hunters winning, Storm winning, Russians winning, Thundering Herd losing. Nick, there wasn't points there.
Well, the Herd were locked like 2 games ago and have probably rested up for 2 games.
Patriots winning big. Boise Power winning by enough points, possibly.
I think we've said Boise Power have won like the last 3 weeks. That's what it feels like, at least, anyway.
R cubed winning.
Oh. Lions won.
How about R squared?
I think that was a big game. The Lions. Oh, if I remember correctly, I went digging through the E, as I normally do, and I watched the Tomahawks Lions game, and it was a very defensive game, and the Lions managed to get the 1 touchdown of the game and make it to the playoffs, if I remember correctly.
Wichita winning as well. No, it's not playoff potential, but good to see Zane winning. So here we can see that the Lions make the playoffs and the Gorillas make the playoffs. Sorry, not the Gorillas, the Patriots.
The Lions and the Patriots.
Yeah.
So the Lions were playing the Tomahawks, and that 1 touchdown that won it by 1 point. Basically, the game was a proper defensive battle, and if the Tomahawks had held on, they would have got the playoff spot. But the Lions just about managed to creep over the line.
Then in the PFC, the Rough Riders and the Rogues, so R squared and R cubed made it.
Mm-hmm. And the Storm and the Kings get the bye week. The Bounty have got to feel hard done by with 9-1 and not getting a bye week.
Yes, 9-1 and having to play on wildcard week is interesting. And Boise missing out on divisional record against the Herd.
Well, clearly the Herd were 4-1 in their division a little while ago, I want to say, and clearly that's the classic score, going 5-5 and winning your division.
Yep.
It's key to this game.
You don't want to win too much. You want to win the right amount.
If you lose 5 games a season, you might as well lose them in the regular season.
Mm-hmm.
Do the hard work later on.
Then on to the playoff previews. So it is the Empire, so it is Nick to go first.
I'm going Patriots, Hunters.
Patriots, Hunters.
And my heart's saying the Thundering Herd. My head's saying the Rogues. It's a tough decision, that one. I've got to go Thundering Herd. Let's go Thundering Herd. And the Bounty.
And the Bounty. Okay, so I am going the Russians, the Hunters, the Rogues, and R cubed.
Why do you keep picking exactly what I'm going to pick, you little?
Because we're the same
your brothers.
Russians, High Hunters, Wawatonga Wogs, and one for the Rangers.
All the R's.
Russians, Lions.
Washans.
Lions.
High Hunters.
Oh, Hunters, sorry. We've all got Hunters.
You should have gone
Wawatonga Wogs. Actually, fuck it. I'll do the Washans followed by the Lions.
The Wyans.
Postman Pat.
The
Postman
Wyans.
Pat, you're going down. The Wyans. And the Wawatonga Wogs. And the Wanford Waff Rangers.
And R cubed.
There's a lot of alliteration here. Bedgebrook Bounty, Wanford Rough Rangers, Rarotonga Rogues.
High Hunters.
High Hunters, Tacoma Thunder, and doesn't quite work. Double T.
Tacoma Thundering Herd.
They look like good games. They look like should all be good games.
Yep, definitely looks like we've got some good games lined up for next week.
Never really appreciated the Thundering Herd's logo before.
It's pretty nice, isn't it?
Top quality.
Well, we've got R cubed. Literally has R cubed as their logo, which is nice.
It is, but I don't know. Something about it just looks a bit kind of GCSE art project.
It does a job. I'm disappointed.
No.
Rarotonga Rogues should have been R squared, and then that's what they missed the trick.
It's not a GCSE art project unless it's Coke cans painted blue and red.
And then someone has to destroy them.
Yeah. I could see the Thundering Herds being an actual college helmet, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mind you, the Hunters isn't bad. I like the Hunters.
Hunters looks like an arena ball team.
The problem with those ones is they're just a bit too intricate for this scale, right?
That is what some of the Arena Ball teams look like, though.
Yeah.
The Rarotonga Rogues look like this, signed by R&R.
Yep.
Rich and Rich have signed the helmet.
Yeah. Rich and Rich together make a Gen Smart.
And then you add Rich Jackson in, and then you get Romford.
True.
Oh, cute.
Right. Anything else before we move away from the Empire?
Nope.
Oh,
Okay. Any closing words before we bring this to a close?
so you're going down.
Going downtown to the Red
That's all I
Zone.
got.
Beat you once, I'll beat you again.
Right. With that, it's
That was
goodbye
lucky.
from me.
I was just playing with people in the first season. Goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me, TikTok.